Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today it looks like we got some horrible news about a rap legend. Now I'm talking about none other than DMX. You know what I mean? Now DMX has been, man, he's been an integral figure in hip hop, man. He was at that turn of the 90s hip hop going into the 2000s that really started to push rap into the forefront. Now DMX, for every and all intents and purposes, is a rap legend. Now, he's had a storied history in hip hop, and it's been kind of crazy, man. I mean, there's been episodes where, he's gotten in trouble. He's had run-ins with the law. But all in all, everybody loves and respects DMX. You know what I'm saying? He's one of my favorite artists, bar none. I mean, one of my favorite artists for a long time, to be real. But, man, it's sad news that, man, they're saying that he might have suffered some type of relapse. And then, he ended up, having an overdose just last night. So, man, it's horrible news, and everybody is standing by to see what's going on. But, man, before we get into the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and, man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about this story about DMX, man. So, the UK Daily Mail just dropped this story, and it says that rapper DMX is in a vegetative state in hospital after suffering a heart attack brought on by drug overdose. So they're claiming that DMX had a drug overdose and, he suffered a heart attack in relation to that overdose. That's crazy, man. So the story continues. It says rapper DMX has been admitted to the hospital after suffering a drug overdose at his home. According to reports, 50-year-old rap artist, whose real name is Earl Simmons, is described as being in a vegetative state after suffering a heart attack brought on by the OD, meaning overdose or whatever. Now, this is according to a report that they received from TMZ. Sources said DMX overdosed in his home around 11 p.m. and was rushed to the hospital in White Plains, New York, where he is not in critical care. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I mean, it says where he is not in critical care. But earlier in the story, it said that he was in a vegetative state. So I don't know how those two things could exist, together. You know what I mean? But sad regardless. All right. So far they said this is a breaking story and they got more news to come. Okay. So that's a lot that was said there, man. So let's unpack all that. So according to these sources, he basically was back at home and he just, ended up going back to his old habits of getting on drugs or whatnot. And then it resulted in an overdose, man. Sad situation, man. I hate this situation because DMX, he seemed like he was battling back. Like him and Snoop Dogg's, their versus battle was my favorite versus battle all last year. Even though Gucci Mane and Jeezy was a great battle, it was like everybody tuned in to watch that one. The Snoop Dogg and DMX battle was probably my favorite. It wasn't even probably. It was my favorite because they were both so happy telling stories, jamming to each other's music. It was just a good look all around for hip hop and just a good look all around for everybody, man, who loves DMX and Snoop's music, man. And since then, like, if you've seen him around and about, and everybody follows him on social media probably, or you've seen him on social media or at the Breakfast Club or even popping up in videos talking to Swiss Beats or not. And you could tell that he put on a little bit more weight. So usually that's a very good sign for somebody who, used to have substance abuse problems. You know what I mean? But obviously, man, he reverted back to those bad habits. And, now we got this story that we're talking about today, man. So I don't know, man. It's just a bad look. It's just a bad look. Now, for those of you who've been living under a rock or don't know the story of DMX, or maybe you're just that young and you're new to hip hop, man, DMX is one of the primary reasons that hip hop is where it is today. He led the whole crossing over and having a hardcore audience movement, basically. Him and Snoop are probably the two at the top of that, of really just crossing over so heavily. But DMX crossed over in a different way where people got in touch with his emotional songs, his heartfelt, struggles and stuff that he had in his music. It was just a different type of relationship with DMX and his fan base, man. Now, he fell into, the lows of Hollywood and all of that, man. And that's when things went downhill. Like, if any of you ever watched the the what is it? What are they called? Chronicles or whatever. Not the No Limit Chronicles, the Rough Riders Chronicles. If you looked at the Rough Rider Chronicle, everything that you heard from DMX, it seemed like a story of pain, strife, and struggle. Like from day one. Like my man had issues with substance abuse from the time he was a teenager, and it continued all the way throughout his career. They found ways to hide it and try to do things like that, try to get him help. He had situations where people were getting, people were getting into crazy situations just trying to help him. I don't want to give up the whole series because, if I start giving out the details, you'd be like, oh man, you ruined it. But go check that out, man. Go check out the Rough Riders Chronicles or whatever from BET. And that was an amazing series. And they spent a very good time talking about DMX and his struggles, man. And I hate to be talking about the brother like he's already gone because that's not the case. And we've seen him, he suffered overdoses before, and it's sad that you have to say it like that, you know what I mean? But we have seen him battle back from overdoses before, and hopefully he makes it out of this one good and healthy too, man. I mean, this is a surprise, man. I know that he's had issues in the past, but when I seen him on that Versus, I seen a different DMX. I swear, man. I watched that whole thing a couple of times. I seen he was just happy, man. He was just dancing. They were there with their wives. It just was a totally different situation than you normally seen him. You know what I mean? It's sad. It's sad to say the least. Now, I'm sure everybody in his camp is probably going to come in and try to assist him and do what they can for his family or whatnot. I'm just going to be standing by waiting to hear the news and see how things progress. Hopefully, man, they go into the right direction, man. I know DMX has a very diverse fan base too. So man, once this news starts to really spread, people are going to be shocked. And man, a lot of people are going to be upset, man, and sad. But like I said, hopefully he pulls through. Now, I hate the fact that, yes, man, I did repeat myself a couple of times, but I truly, truly mean those words, and those are from my deepest sentiments, man. So shout out to DMX and his family or whatnot, and I am like 100% sure you're going to hear an outcrying from the hip-hop community because, man, everybody pulls for DMX, everybody messes with DMX, even in his old age, man. He's 50 years old. He's an elder guy in the hip-hop game, man. He's an old guy, man, and nothing wrong with that. And you like to see a lot of those guys hanging around and staying around. As an example, to the young rappers, man, be it positive or negative, they can take something from the story. You know what I mean? Especially with what's going on in hip hop today, man. In the last year, it's been kind of crazy in hip hop. And to look up to DMX and all these older cats, man, it gives the young guys something to at least work towards in legacy wise. Not saying that, money wise and all that other stuff, just shows them that there's a path to getting a legacy in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Now with that, what do you guys think, man? Are you guys going to be dropping some comments or whatever and sending your well wishes to DMX and his family? And man, or do you think that maybe they got this story wrong and maybe we're rushing to it too quick? Because there were some inconsistencies, not inconsistencies, but it was some confusing stuff in that news article and basically said that, he was in non-critical condition or whatnot. So, man, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. And, man, make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here, man. And, yo, man, my best wishes to DMX and his folks, man. Peace.